Bringing people and communities together on seclosounds.org.
Your listening station.
Hi, I'm Terry Sullivan and welcome to this week's Sticks Radio Show here on Seclo Sounds. Two guests on the show in this hour. Later on, we're going to be talking to Alison Locke. She's the lead singer of a band, a local band called The Misfitz. They're playing a big charity event at the Stables in Milton Keynes on Friday the 4th of September. We'll be talking to her later on in the hour. First up in the hour is a gentleman called Tommy Carey. He's in a show, or starring in a show called 24 Hours from Tulsa, remembering Gene Pitney. And we start the show off with Gene Pitney's classic song, Something's Got a Hold of My Heart.
Something's gotten hold of my heart, keeping my soul and my senses apart. Something's gotten into my life, cutting its way through my dreams like a knife, turning me up, turning me down, making me smile and making me frown. In a world that was small, I once lived in a time that was peace with no trouble at all. But then you came my way, and a feeling unknown shook my heart, made me want you to stay. All of my nights and all of my days. Yeah, I gotta tell you now, something's gotten hold of my hand, dragging my soul to a beautiful land. Now something has invaded my night, painting my sleep with the colors so bright, changing the gray, changing the blue, scarlet for me and scarlet for you. I've got to know if this is the real thing. I've got to know what's making my heart sing. Oh, yeah. You smile and I am lost for a lifetime. Each minute spent with you is the right time. Every hour, yeah, every day, yeah. You touch me and my mind goes astray. And something got a hold of my hand, dragging my soul to a beautiful land. Yeah, something has invaded my night, painting my sleep with a
Okay, that was a Gene Pitney and Something's Got a Hold of My Heart. And my guest today is none other than Tommy Carey. He's the man behind a show called 24 Hours from Tulsa, remembering Gene Pitney. Good morning, Tommy. How you doing?
Great, everything is okay on this side. And
Yeah, because I think the game's been given away. You're an Irishman. I think that's... He must be...
How did you guess?
It was a little bit of... Well, it was a bit of a giveaway, really. The accent sort of gave it away a little bit.
I know,
sort of
it
thing.
always does.
You don't sing with an Irish accent. I've heard you sing. You don't sing with an Irish accent.
No, well, it's very, very hard to sing Gene Pitney with an Irish accent.
Oh, I think so.
Especially the part of Dublin I came from. It would have been hard for him to try and imitate Tommy Carey.
Let's talk about you really. Let's talk about your early life. I mean, you've been around for, well, without being too sort of nasty, you've been around for a few years.
Quite a few, indeed.
In Ireland, you were Ireland's #1 cabaret performer.
Yeah, I actually, many years ago, thank God, things, all through Gene Pitney, of course. I started off, as a lot of people do, going down the talent competition route. Mm-hmm. And I started singing songs from the Bee Gees and from Tom Jones and Tony Christie and Roy Orbison, but I wasn't singing Gene Pitney. And it was just that people started to remark that the similarity between my voice and Gene Pitney's voice. Mm-hmm. And so that happens on so many occasions. I decided to check out the one and only Gene Pitney and see what he was all about. So I latched on to 24 Hours from Tulsa, and we went from there.
Yeah, and that was, 1980, was it?
Well, in 1977, I did the first Gene Pitney show with the big band.
Wow.
That was the first one we put on the road in 1977 here in Dublin.
So let's have a look. That's best part of 40 years ago, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I was only a young lad then. I'm joking.
Were you even born then?
I was born then, yes. Oh, yeah, oh, God, yes. I was born in the early 60s, so I do. And I remember Gene very, very well. I remember 24 Hours from Tulsa. I remember Something's Got a Hold of My Hand. And I remember when he did the song with Mark Almond, which was, I think, 90s. Do you know?
Yeah, well, that became his only #1 in Britain.
I know, it was amazing, isn't it?
And when he recorded it.
But he had a very, very distinctive voice, I would say.
Gene Pitney had a remarkable voice, but I mean, it's one of those voices, when you hear it, you know instantly who it is.
Yeah.
And there have been a lot of people over the years where you know their voice as soon as you hear it. If you've missed the start of the song, you've missed the intro into it. You'll always know it's Gene Pitney.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I remember him when I was a boy. My father used to play the old 60s music. I was born in 1962. I quickly sketch over that one so everybody doesn't know quite how old I was.
My God. You don't know that old.
I mean, it's been a pleasure. I've had over the years. I've had some great 60s singers and 70s singers, and I'm sad that I never got to get Gene Pitney on the show because of he's obviously no longer with us. Did you ever get to meet the great man himself?
I did, yes.
You did?
I did on many occasions.
Okay.
I actually got a chance to have an in-depth conversation with him many years ago. He was appearing in a club here in Dublin, the ill-fated Stardust Club, which sadly went on fire many years ago on Valentine's Night with the loss of a lot of lives.
Oh dear.
That's a hard thing to talk about here. But he literally, Gene Pitney opened up the Stardust. He was the headliner for the opening week of the Stardust. And I got to meet him. I got to go and pick him up with one of the owners of the Stardust at his hotel in Dublin, and had a great chat with him all the way out to the show. And we spoke about my role, what I did, what songs I did in my Gene Pitney tribute, as opposed to what he was actually doing himself. And there were a few songs that I had in my show that he actually didn't include or hadn't included in his program for that particular gig.
Because I mean, a lot of people don't know Gene wrote a lot of other. Not only did he perform. You'll probably know this better than I do, as you're a huge fan.
I mean, he wrote "He's a Rebel" for the Crystals, which got to #1 in Britain. He wrote that. He wrote "Rubber Ball."
Yeah.
He wrote. He had about. Oh my God, he had a good few hits.
Yeah. Today's Teardrops.
He hit the big time himself.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the song that started him off, that really got him off the ground, was a song he recorded in New York for $30. And he played all the instruments. He did the vocal tracks. He played the piano, the guitar, the drums. It was a song called "I Want to Love My Life Away" in 1961.
Just the year before I was born.
Well, there you go. And
there we go.
Road. But there again, I grew up in the 60s. That was an era for me. I was Beatles mad and whatever else. And when Gene Pitney wouldn't have been, at that time, he wouldn't be on my radar. But as time went on and the more comparisons I got to the Gene Pitney voice, the more I delved into his program and into all the songs. So obviously 24 Hours from Tulsa was the first one I ever sang, and then I got to hear all the rest as the years went on, and that was it.
Yeah, because you covered quite a few. I mean, he had a US #1 smash. The first smash hit single was Cara Mia. I'll get my teeth organised.
Yeah, Cara Mia. Well, that was actually Jay and the Americans recorded that originally. So that was a cover for Gene Pitney, and he did an incredible job, which he did in most songs, no matter whose song he would sing.
But
he did. He was just remarkable. I mean, he told every song he sang, and for all the Gene Pitney fans out there, all his songs, they all had stories. He told a story within the song, which for especially the ones with you know the sad songs. And it's like for all singers, if you're singing a sad song, you've got to feel that sadness when you're singing it.
Yeah, it was quite an emotional voice. I remember it was sort of, I would almost say it was intense.
Very, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. I would agree with you, because he had all the angst in his voice. He had when he needed to be happy, he sounded happy, and when the song needed to be sad, he sounded sad. I mean, there was a little known song. Well, only the real hardened Gene Pitney fans would be into a song called Angelica. And it's absolutely incredible song. It's a song basically about a man who waited too long to tell the lady of his life how much he loved her and whatever. And by the time he got round to it, she wasn't there anymore.
Oh,
and that is a song. If you want to sit and have a glass of wine and a good cry, then you put on Gene Pitney's Angelica.
Well,
as I said,
I don't mind a glass of wine. I'm not keen on the crying particularly. But yeah, ironically, you play that in your set, don't you? I have a list of all.
Indeed, I appeared here in Dublin in our own National Concert Hall in February, and Angelica, which I wasn't too sure would go down too well. I mean, there were 1,200 people in the place, and I wasn't too sure which way that song would go. And it was one of the hits of the night.
It's funny, actually. A lot of people, because obviously they know the bit. I mean, I think everybody knows 24 Hours from Tulsa. I think everybody, well, not everybody, but most people. You mentioned Gene Pitney. That's his marquee song, isn't it?
Well, it's one. You see, that 24 Hours from Tulsa is it's one of the easier songs. Gene Pitney he never made it easy for anybody singing. Never, because he was up in the clouds all the time. I mean, he hit such notes. The only comparison to Gene Pitney, of course, was Roy Orbison.
Oh, yeah, another great man.
They both had the same range.
Sadly, no longer with us.
No, sadly, he's gone as well.
We're losing all the great singers. Obviously, recently we've just lost the legendary Benny King, who I had the pleasure of meeting a few years ago, and they're disappearing. Well, they're getting to that age now where, life goes on. So
we're getting to that age where popping around.
Everybody's getting older.
I mean, it's somebody said to me many years ago, the older you get, the more funerals you will go to.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that at the time.
Yeah, there's some great words of wisdom. The older you get, more funerals you get to, and then the old one is that the school days are the best days of your life. And while you're at school, you think, nah, they're not. But now you look back, they sure are.
I had to leave school and get on and start singing.
Yeah?
Because I was actually singing, I think I was only about 9 years of age when I sort of came to the attention of people. And then somebody said, my God, you have a voice. Maybe one day you will make a singer.
So you were a child prodigy out in...
I was, to be honest with you, I was. I was on a radio programme here called The School Around the Corner many...
Okay.
I think I was about 9 or 10 years of age.
Blimey. Yeah. I must admit, I remember I made my stage debut at the age of 9. My voice was great then. By the time I was 13, my voice broke, and I think it needs fixing. It's not great. My wife tells me off for singing in the shower.
When my voice broke, I got somebody else's. I got Gene Pitney's voice.
Well, you're a lucky man. Yeah, my wife tells me never to sing in the shower. So if anybody ever wants me to do any engagements, I do a bit of comparing. But please do not ever ask me to come and sing.
Do you play an instrument yourself?
No.
Or have you been in the music game?
No, not at all. I know I do a lot of talent shows. I go and judge talent shows.
Yeah, I've done that for years.
And
And
I know I know what's good, and I know if somebody's singing out of tune, and I know if somebody's playing badly, but I can't do it myself, which